I know that there are some originators that actually make decisions on pushing one of these products because of compensation. They only sell to do the job, that job right then and there.
Are salespeople, or at least that's what the industry calls for an originator to do. We're not exposing ourselves to different markets, potential other relationships, more business.
What creates a great brand? What creates a great brand are standards.
Matt Weaver, the #1 mortgage originator in the United States for most loans closed in 2023 and #1 in the state of Florida from 2020 to present, has spent over 27 years mastering the purchase market, earning more than 16 #1 titles across his career. Max Fisch, 2024's #1 originator in the United States under 30 and #2 in the state of Florida, achieved those titles within just 5 years of entering the mortgage industry, compressing decades of growth into a few extraordinary years. Collectively, they've helped more than 40,000 families purchase their first home. Now partners and looking to improve the industry on a national scale, Matt and Max share their winning formula, team structure, and systems with originators who want to scale from elite to extraordinary levels.
Matt, I have a fun question for you. Actually, a series of questions.
Yes.
Okay, are you ready for them?
Please.
Okay, what would you say if an originator said to you, I just lost a transaction to a competitor?
Just do more.
Okay, but what if they said, the market's too slow?
Just do more.
What if they said, my real estate agents aren't as busy?
Just do more. I mean, it's the only thing that I know that works. Just do more. We're in an industry, we're in a business where if we do more, we tend to have higher rewards. So during the process, during this great business that we're in, we're going to be interacting with competition. We're going to lose a transaction to a competitor. Some of our agents perhaps are going to be a little bit slower. Some are going to be a little bit busier. So how do you combat this situation? If you just do more. So you know this, our activities are always going to be in direct proportion to our production, and our production is always going to be in direct proportion to what it is that we're looking to accomplish with our life. So if you can just simply understand doing more is always better, then you just do more. I think what happens is that originators can get very scared, okay, and allow these external factors, such as losing a transaction to a competitor, a real estate agent being a little bit slower, and they start kind of recoiling themselves. They try and figure out, am I with the right company? Am I with the right team? Am I at the right branch? Can I get $1 more per transaction or whatever it may be? Versus just do more. Here, ready? I have a better question. Why isn't doing more an option?
It's so interesting when you really think about it like that. I think, and we've talked about this analogy before, the marble analogy. You know where I'm going with this. The marble analogy.
Yes.
Where I think, especially in the origination industry, okay, salespeople, they tend to have 10 marbles on the table. This is the illustration. They have 10 marbles on the table, and they kind of put their arms around the marbles so that none fall off.
Right.
Now, protecting these 10. Okay.
Those are my marbles.
Those are mine. Okay. And they're protecting these 10. Now, if 2 fall off, it's like, okay, now I only have 8.
Yes.
Okay. But there's someone else, okay, let's just use you, for example, for the past 16 years, that has this bucket that they're just filling with marbles. And then they're going to take that bucket and they're going to pour it on the table. And some might fall off, sure.
Right.
But there's inevitably going to be more than those 10.
Correct.
When you're just focused on those 10. And it's so interesting because originators, okay, are salespeople, or at least that's what the industry calls for an originator to do, okay, is sell. Now, there are 2 types of originators, and we talk about it. We paint the illustration of a window washer, okay, versus a salesperson. And so share that because you illustrate that so beautiful.
100%. So if you think about it, okay, we've all experienced this. So Saturday, 3:00, you get a knock at the door. Usually it's a younger kid. You open the door, it says, I'll tell you what, I can wash your windows $175, I'll be in and out of here in 2 hours. You look at the kid, you look over his shoulder, okay? He's got a pickup truck with a pressure washer on the back. He's ready to do the job. Is he a window washer or a salesperson? I want us to think about that for just a second. But then, next week, you get another knock at the door, okay? You open it. The gentleman standing there, he's got a polo shirt on. It says A to Z window washing. He says, I'll be in your area in the next week or so. I'd like to book your house. We can do a great job on your windows. We charge a very fair price. My team will be out here next Saturday. Let's call it 4 o'clock. Can we book you for a job? You look over his shoulder, okay? He's driving a Honda Civic, just saying A to Z window washing. No equipment, not ready to do the job. Is he a window washer or a salesperson? He's a salesperson. The first is a window washer. The first is the typical originator. They only sell to do the job, that job right then and there, versus going out and selling a process, selling a system. So most originators are window washers over salespeople. They're not really true to life salespeople, okay? But if we think about it, the idea is always to do more and to get more. The customer we serve changes all the time. Okay, we could have a great agent that we've been doing business with for years, and they can retire. And good for them. God bless them. They put in the work, they're retiring. They could have a life epiphany and a change of direction and maybe want to get into a new industry. So we can't be protecting the marbles. Okay, we want to serve them to the highest level, but we want to get more of them to serve at the highest level. So when we think about it, the best thing we can do for our business, the best thing we can do for our team, the best thing we can do for our family is just to do more. That's it. Any other option is an inferior option to doing more.
Yeah.
And, I got to tell you something, okay? There are so many programs that are out, okay? Whether they be down payment assistance programs, whether you're within a state that has a certain program that comes out and, it's popular in choice. I know that there are some originators that actually make decisions on pushing one of these products because of compensation. I want us to think about that for a second. That is so small in thinking. Okay? There's no wonder here. The Matt Weaver team, and I say this with honor, we have issued the most down payment assistance programs. Okay, we got awarded this for 3 years in a row. The most down payment assistance programs than any other originator up and down the entire Eastern Seaboard. And we're proud of it. Because the idea is to always have the mindset of just doing more. So if there's a transaction that you get less compensation, it doesn't matter. You're serving the agent, you're serving their home buyer. They end up returning back to you, and you're just doing more.
Yeah. Can I bring up something? That one of the most powerful things that you mentioned to me when we first partnered together was that, and I'll share where I'm going with this in a second, but your brand is directly correlated to your level of activity in the market. Okay. And your brand is how you play on the court. That's what dictates what your brand is.
Right.
And one of the biggest things we hear with originators, I'm sure people listening, is they're concerned about their brand. Okay. I want my brand to be big in my market. I want people to know who I am. But if we don't understand that our brand is directly correlating to doing more, okay,
Right.
then I think that we're missing the illustration, the idea. Because when we're not focused on doing more, getting out in front of more people, serving more customers, and the list goes on, then our brand is damaged because our activity is less.
Right.
And so when we think so transactionally, as you're mentioning, with the not sharing certain loan products because of the compensation, etc., all we're doing is lessening our exposure in our market, which then damages our brand, which originators love to talk about.
Right.
And so if we can stop, I think, if we can stop collectively as an industry focusing so much on brand and just focusing on our activity and reaching more people, influencing more people, then the brand will come.
Yes.
But it all points back to just being on full offense and just doing more on a consistent basis. Because the more people you're in front of, the more relationships in business can come from that.
Right.
Okay. But if we're just so focused on preserving, and we're just so focused on defense and the contacts that we currently have today, we're not exposing ourselves to different markets, potential other relationships, more business, etc.
Oh,
And I just think that that's so important to mention because it's a pain point that originators bring up.
no question about it. I mean, listen, what creates a great brand? What creates a great brand are standards.
Mhm.
Are standards. Okay, so for example, the Matt Weaver team standard is to serve all. Okay, we never pre-diagnose in terms of someone calling in to get pre-approved. At that right off the bat. Okay, so our pre-approval process, as we know, simply guides the buyer from, hi, I'd like to get pre-approved directly into application. We're not asking 10 or 15 pre-qualifying questions in advance. We're not trying to size them up to see if they're worth our time.
Mhm.
Okay, so our standards are to serve everybody regardless of purchase price, regardless of loan product that fits their perfect needs, regardless of what type of property. So the irony to the whole case is if you have great standards that serve your customer to the highest level, you'll end up doing more, which ends up bleeding over to your brand, which makes it stronger in the marketplace. So I guess at the end of the day, we have one answer, which is to
Just do more.
great seeing you.
You as well. At F13, you're not just joining an originator consulting company. You're joining an elite group of originators, all chasing number one, challenging each other to think differently, to think in an unorthodox manner. So visit think13.com to learn more about F13 Consulting so that you can scale your business to extraordinary levels. Thank you for watching.